I've driven in steel-toe boots in January, snowboard boots when I was feeling lazy, Vans almost every day, loafers when I was feeling fancy, barefoot once, never again, and my Sparco Speed Cats when I actually wanted to feel what the car was doing. The difference is not subtle. See, that's the wrong question. Here's the right one. Does your shoe change what the pedal tells you? Yes, every time. And what you do with that information is up to you. 3 pedals, all different resistance and all different travel. And your foot is the only thing connecting you to all 3 at once. When you do heel and toe, bleeping the throttle while your toe is on the brake, you kind of need to feel where the throttle is without looking at it. You need to know how much pressure you're putting down. You need to modulate. A thick sole absorbs all of that information, while a thin sole passes all that information to your foot. During the winter, especially here in Canada, you're not changing your shoes before you drive. Nobody is. You get in the car with whatever's on your feet and you deal with it. Steel-toe boots are pretty much the worst case. Sole is thick, the toe box is rigid, there's zero flex. You're not really feeling the throttle, you're just approximating. And in this case, heel and toe becomes guesswork because you can't really tell where the bite point is until you've already passed it. Regular winter boots, they are better. Not by much though. The heel bulk is the real problem. It catches on the floor mats, it changes the angle of your foot on the pedal, and you end up pressing harder than you think because you can't feel the resistance. I still do it every winter. Everyone does. But I notice a difference as soon as spring comes and I put on a pair of flat-soled shoes. I've driven in snowboard boots and I would not advise anyone doing it. Again, I did it a couple times when I went up to the mountain snowboarding and my shoes either got wet or I was just lazy to change them. So I just drove home in my snowboard boots. This is the worst case scenario because snowboard boots have little to no flex on your heel. Because they come up to the middle of your chin, you will end up not rolling on the throttle, but pushing on the throttle because you can't do this motion. So you're pretty much not driving with your foot anymore. You're driving with a platform attached to your leg. Throttle kind of becomes on or off, and braking is by memory, not feel. It's the extreme end of the spectrum and makes everything else feel precise by comparison. Running shoes are interesting because they feel fine until you try something else with a thinner sole. The cushioning that protects your foot and ankle while on a run or a hike, it's doing the exact opposite thing in the car. It's absorbing the information the pedal is trying to send you. Chunky fashion shoes, the Yeezys, the dad shoes, anything with a platform, they have exactly the same problem plus the geometry issue. The heel sits higher than the ball of your foot, which pretty much changes the angle your foot makes with a pedal. You're not really pressing down anymore or rolling on the throttle anymore. In my case, Vans or pretty much any flat sole sneaker. This is where most people land, and honestly, it's a good place to land. The Vans, for example, flat vulcanized sole, minimal heel stack, thin enough so you can feel the pedal, but still protective and comfortable enough so you can wear all day. You know, Vans, Chuck Taylors, anything in this family. The only thing I would say is Vans waffle soles don't stick to the pedals as good as flat soles would, but it's really close, and honestly most drivers won't even notice the difference. If you're not heel and toeing regularly and you're not on the track, Vans are the honest answer. Affordable, wearable everywhere, and the pedal feel is genuinely good. Barefoot and or socks, the feedback is incredible. Your foot reads every millimeter of travel. Heel and toe kind of becomes effortless because there's nothing between your foot and the pedals. The problem, at least for me, it's the throttle. When I drove barefoot, my foot would wrap around the throttle pedal instead of just sitting flat on the throttle. You lose the even press of the pedal. You end up with contact on the toe tips instead of the ball of your foot. Socks are even worse. It's the same thing as driving barefoot, but with a quarter of the grip. Your foot slides on the braking and the feedback benefit disappears because you're busy managing the slide on the pedal. Loafers are the accidental right answer. The thin rubber sole, no heel stack, your foot lays flat and evenly on the pedals. The contact patch is clean, heel and toe feels very nice because the foot moves the way it's supposed to move. And the rubber sole grips the pedals better than leather would. The problem with loafers is context, at least in my opinion. You wear them to a nice dinner, not to a Cars and Coffee. Nobody shows up to Cars and Coffee in loafers, at least not on purpose. My two favorite shoes have two very different stories, but the same destination. The Converse Run Star, a court shoe designed for lateral movement on a basketball court with a flat contact patch, low profile, rubber wrap around the heel and ankle that keeps the foot planted. That geometry works on a pedal box for the exact same reason it works on a basketball court. And you're buying this as an everyday sneaker. The second one, the Sparco Speed Cats. Puma and Sparco collaborated in this shoe. It's not just a Speed Cat with a Sparco logo. The Sparco version has a slightly thinner sole and a slightly different construction, specifically built for pedal feel. It looks like a sneaker, but it was engineered for the pedal box. The Loafer, Run Stars, the Sparcos, and the Moccasins. 4 different origins, but they all work the same for this purpose. What made me land on the Sparco Speed Cats was very simple. It works everywhere. A track day, Cars and Coffee, a meet, a nice dinner. The aesthetic holds and the pedal feel is there every single time. Your shoe changes what your pedal tells you. Sole thickness, heel geometry, grip surface. All of it affects the signal the gas pedal is sending through your foot to your brain. A bad driver wearing Speed Cats is still a bad driver. And a good driver in winter boots is still managing. The feedback is either there or it isn't. Try driving in something with a flat sole if you never tried it. Try the heel and toe in your Vans or your Speed Cats versus your running shoes or your boots. Feel the difference and then decide. I drive with the Sparco Speed Cats when I can, with my Vans when I can't, and in boots when Canada says it's winter time. You might have the right shoes for you already in your house, so try them out, see what you like, see if it even makes a difference to you, and then decide.